All right, All of Me, great standard in both the jazz style and the hot club style. There aren't a lot of chords here. We get two measures for a chord, and what we're going to talk about here in this lesson is voice leading and abbreviated chord voicing. Specifically, I'm thinking about you out there, Patrick, because you did ask me, how does voice leading apply to rhythm changes, right? These aren't actually rhythm changes, but very, very similar, and the tune works great. We'll get to rhythm changes in another lesson. Okay. So abbreviated voicings. I'm going to play these abbreviated voicings one pass through here in a sort of a medium tempo, and then we'll talk about them. All right, now the first chord I'm using is a major 6 chord. It's got a root and a 6 and a 3 on top. Nice voicing, everything, even when I strike all the strings, there's the trick. You're only hearing those 3 notes, right? These voicings that we choose have to have the notes that don't belong muted. Okay, and then I use my baby finger to move to the next chord, so I don't have gaps. I try not to leave the fretboard. I can also alternate that lower voice. And then now I move the tritone down to my A7. Now I use exactly the same chord shape. I don't like that word normally, but I take that shape and I make it into the D minor 7 by just jumping a set of strings. Now I could go back to the E7 here, but then I'd have to do a bit of jumping around. So probably, one thing I would do, I don't know if I did it just playing rhythm, but I would just take this whole thing and move it up like a rail. So there's my E7 chord. And then taking that down to A minor 7. And then the D7, and then I'd have to make a bit of a jump, but you'll notice I could probably go, no, that works fine. I've got these 2 notes here, the root and the 7th, and I'm going to add the 3rd on top. And then move. This movement here is great. It's one that you should work on. From the D minor 7, the 2 chord, to the 5 chord, and all I'm doing is flipping my fingers 2 and 3. There's my 5th of the 5 chord, my 3rd of the 5 chord. I still have all the notes that I'm not playing muted, right? That's part of the trick of these voicings. Mute, 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 right? Okay, and now we're back to the top. I could play C major 7 down here. E7. Throw that tritone back. D minor. with it just the jump. And now I'm going to move on a rail. Check this out. Moving on the rail the same strings. I just spread my fingers out a little bit and I have an F major 7. I close my fingers a little bit and I have an F minor 7, which I'm going to substitute for the F sharp diminished. And common substitution, and then I move down on the rail. And then I move down just two fingers on that same rail for a substitute dominant, not the A7, but the tritone substitution. I move down on the rail, and I move down on the rail again to the tritone substitution, and then I resolve down on the rail to the C major 7. Now, let me play that for you. E minor, E flat 7, D minor, D flat 7, C major 7, connect with the baby finger, C sharp diminished, D minor 7 with the baby finger, and then I could go to another tritone substitution, keeping the baby finger in common. All right. So what's this about? It's about, yes, it's about voice leading, but it's also about abbreviated voicings that have muted strings that are very naturally played with muted strings, so that you can attack the entire instrument, like all 6 strings, but you don't have to worry about any ringing open strings. At the same time, it is about voice leading. You can hear that, right? And you're always looking for voice leading at the same time that you're looking for common fingers and guide fingers and pivot fingers in order to keep those changes nice and clean and easy to make. So I hope that's a help. And naturally, all of these voicings can be used in other material, but they're especially applicable to playing an up rhythm style, because largely it's about playing rhythm and never letting up on that rhythm. It's almost like the banjo players used to play in the big bands on the riverboats, right? It was always. You don't let up on that. It's very specific playing style, but you can take the same ideas with voice leading, in a ballad style as well, right? So there you go. That was it. That was for you, Patrick, and anybody else out there who would like to clean up a sort of a punchy and really nice moving rhythm sound.